Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Jeri Ryan admits a specific reason why she found it hard to reprise 7 of 9 in Star Trek. Picard. Ryan embodied 7 of 9 in 4 seasons of Star Trek, Voyager, and her iconic reclaimed Borg endures as one of Star Trek's most popular characters decades after Voyager ended in 2001. In 2020, Star Trek Picard brought back 7 of 9 to join Admiral Jean-Luc Picard's Patrick Stewart galaxy-saving motley crew. 7 was a changed character who endured hardships after Star Trek Voyager that saw her leave Earth and find a new life with the Fenris Rangers in the Beta Quadrant. As reported by Trek Movie, Jeri Ryan joined her Star Trek Voyager co-star Tim Russ on stage for a panel at Creation Entertainment's STCHI Trek to Chicago convention. Ryan discussed how 7 was created to give Star Trek Voyager mainstream attention and revealed her thoughts on 7's signature catsuits. In terms of 7 of 9's comeback, Jeri Ryan says she had a harder time finding her when she joined Star Trek Picard because of the difference in writing. Ryan credits Star Trek Voyager executive producer Brannon Braga for creating 7 and notes that there was a contrast between Braga's Star Trek Picard Season 1 as showrunner was Michael Chabon, and the celebrated novelist delved into Romulan and Borg mythology. Picard Season 1 was a marked difference tonally and structurally from what fans of Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Voyager expected. 20 years removed from Star Trek Voyager, 7 of 9 was a changed character in Star Trek Picard. 7 was isolated from her Voyager friends and lived a life of violence and loss as a Fenris Ranger in the Delta Quadrant. Another change for 7 was Picard turning her into more of a reluctant, phaser-toting action hero. In a 2023 appearance on the Shuttlepod show, Brannon Braga pointed out, "I'm not sure I would have done the kind of stories with 7 of 9 that Star Trek Picard did." Braga, who was in a relationship with Jeri Ryan during their Star Trek Voyager years, also thought 7 should have died at the end of Voyager. Star Trek Picard Season 3 was the most successful iteration of that show, and Jeri Ryan was delighted by how her close friend, Terry Matalas, wrote 7 of 9, who became captain of the USS Enterprise G. Whether Jeri Ryan will get to play Captain 7 in the hoped for Star Trek Legacy spinoff is still anyone's guess. When the universe of Star Trek expands, it rarely does so quietly. Stars return, legacies evolve, and long-dormant characters re-emerge carrying not only the weight of expectation, but the gravity of time itself. So when the creators of Star Trek Picard approached Jeri Ryan to reprise her iconic role as 7 of 9, the world expected fireworks, nostalgia, and a seamless continuation of one of the franchise's most beloved journeys. But the actress surprised everyone by admitting a truth far more grounded, human, and compelling. It was hard. Her revelation didn't come with dramatic flair or a calculated publicity push. Instead, it arrived with the quiet honesty that has always made her portrayal of 7 resonate beyond the sleek veneer of a former Borg drone. The difficulty, as she explained, was not in slipping back into the role, but in confronting who 7 had become. After decades of trauma, growth, rebellion, and the lonely forging of a new identity in a galaxy that still struggled to define her. The weight of 2 decades. When last seen in Star Trek Voyager, 7 was brilliant, socially awkward, fiercely logical, and still trembling on the edge of rediscovering her humanity. She was a symbol of recovery, mechanical, methodical, hopeful. But the 7 we meet in Picard is a woman changed by loss, hardened by purpose, sharpened into a vigilante shaped by her years among the Fenris Rangers. The gulf between these versions of the character is vast, and stepping across it required Jeri Ryan to bridge a 20-year emotional timeline in a universe where the character herself never got the luxury of stillness. In interviews, the actress often confessed that reclaiming 7's voice was like finding a melody after forgetting the tune. Her cadence had evolved, her posture softened, then re-hardened, her logic now filtered through a far more human, even wounded, lens. That difficulty was the heart of the performance. Transforming 7 not replaying her. Many returning actors simply revive a character, but Ryan had to reinvent one. The creators wanted no caricature, no hollow nostalgia, no museum version of a past fan favorite. Seven had to feel lived in, worn, weathered. A survivor, not only of the Borg, but of a federation that had, by this era, retreated into caution, bureaucracy, and at times, moral ambiguity. The hardest part, Ryan admitted, wasn't the physicality or the technobabble. It was honoring the old Seven while embracing the scars of the new one. In Picard, she is no longer the aloof, analytical outsider tiptoeing through humanity with a scientist's detachment. She laughs. She curses. She grieves. She rages. She even loves, dangerously, messily, vulnerably. For Ryan, building this emotional complexity required dismantling the Seven she had once constructed with such precision. She couldn't simply play Seven again. She had to grow her. A galaxy that no longer fits. One of the most powerful elements of Seven's return was how the world around her had transformed. The idealistic federation of her Voyager era had become more insular. Starfleet, the home she once longed for but could never fully claim, had turned away from old values. Ryan embraced this narrative tension, noting that Seven's disillusionment was essential to her evolution. The Federation's cold shoulder in the years between Voyager and Picard wasn't just political, it was personal. Seven had spent years learning how to be human, only to find humanity's largest institution uninterested in welcoming her. This rejection, Ryan explained, was one of the emotional cores she struggled to navigate. It shaped Seven into a figure who protects others because institutions won't. A woman who has learned justice not from manuals, but from necessity. Playing that bitter, hardened version of the character demanded a depth of emotional recall that went beyond performance. It required empathy. The hardest scene, a mirror to the past. Among the most challenging scenes for Ryan was one in which Seven confronts the horrors of XBs, the ex-Borg, victims of exploitation, discrimination, and violence. This narrative, deeply rooted in trauma, forced her to look directly at the broken systems that shaped both the character and the actress's own evolving understanding of identity. Seven's empathy for the XBs was not merely a plot line. It was a reflection of her own unresolved grief over the life the Borg stole and the Federation never fully allowed her to reclaim. Ryan explained that stepping into this emotional battlefield was difficult because it demanded revisiting the most fragile aspects of Seven's humanity: her longing for belonging, her quiet sorrow, her unspoken fear that she would always be other. Finding humanity behind the hardness. Despite the challenges, Ryan found joy in exploring Seven's emotional spectrum, something she rarely had access to in Voyager. Seven in Picard is allowed to cry without shame, to embrace without hesitation, to seek connection without needing permission. She is not just discovering humanity, she is living it. The actress admitted that these moments were some of the hardest to get right. How much emotion would Seven show? How raw could she be? How vulnerable could a woman once defined by logic allow herself to appear? The balancing act was delicate, Ryan said, but ultimately empowering. Seven's humanity was not a switch to be turned on. It was a process to be embodied. Legacy, reclaimed. What makes Ryan's admission? It was hard. So meaningful is not that the performance was challenging, but that the difficulty enriched the character's rebirth. 7 of 9 in Picard is not a symbol of perfection, but a testament to resilience. She is the product of grief, survival, adaptation, and relentless self-reconstruction. And Jeri Ryan didn't simply portray those truths, she reconstructed them herself, piece by piece, scene by scene, season by season. In the end, the return was hard because it had to be. Seven's journey was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be real, and Ryan delivered a transformation so authentic that it not only honored the character's legacy, but elevated it. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.